Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusril, the game is Star Trek Online, and welcome to the Tribble Timewarp for Agents of Yesterday. It is the 27th of May 2016, and as always I'm going to start this video off with a spoiler warning. If you do not want to see spoilers for the upcoming Agents of Yesterday expansion pack, now would be a very good moment to stop watching this video. And with that out of the way, let's get on. We'll start with a minor little detail. As anyone who's played around with the ship renaming and renumbering system will be aware, certain registry numbers are protected. You can't have NCC 1701 no matter how much you beg the developers, and there are various others. Voyagers, for example, 74656, and I think the second Defiance number is also protected. One number that isn't protected, and probably should be, is this one, 1764. That's the registry number for the original USS Defiant from the TOS episode The Tholian Web. And as you can see, the game has not blocked me from using it on Hayakaze. I decided just to try it, see if it would. I actually thought it would, but no, it didn't, and perhaps it ought to have done. So that's one little pointer to get going with for Cryptic. As for the meat of today's episode, we are pushing on with the campaign. Episode number 3 is Painful Omens, and this is going to be on the replay mode. I've already played it through a couple of times, and I'm not starting yet another character to get it going again. Starfleet hasn't heard from Station K-13 in a while, tactically sensitive, brass are getting concerned, and things, well, frankly, things have already gone sideways. But, yeah, let's face it, you wouldn't send a starship if you didn't. Rewards for the replay, 819 XP and 283 expertise. Worth noting that when you're playing this through the first time, obviously, your rewards are much greater. I believe it's about 4 or 5 times the amount of experience and expertise. You also get your science officer, Tribble, and an upgraded photon torpedo launcher, Mark 1 damage rather than standard issue, so Mark 1.5, nothing wrong with that at the moment. Let's just get on with the mission. It sends you out to the Denver system, where K-13 is located, and if you're familiar with the Denver system, you're already warming up the tanning beds. Let's get it on. So, welcome to the Denver system. Painful Omens indeed. We're right near Space Station K-13. Tribble is doing this, of course. When you play this for the first time, she's not actually on your ship. So, yeah, you actually get a generic science officer, or Scavrin. I think it was Scavrin the first time I played this through. No comm traffic, no signals, nothing at all. Scan for enemy ships, nothing out of the ordinary there either. No Klingons, no Romulans, no lesser spotted space amoeba. This is peculiar indeed. Yellow alert, prepare for approach. Just quietly squirt the impulse drive, take us in. And then, once you get close, the escort ships go hostile. The Myrmidon and an unnamed Pioneer-class frigate both start shooting us up. Fine, lock onto the Myrmidon, get the old-school torpedo effects, and let's have ourselves a 2-on-1. That came out much dirtier than I intended it to. Fine, run pass. Looks like it's, well, strictly speaking, it's a pair of frigates. Interesting that the Myrmidon is named, but the other one is not. That's slightly strange, but fair enough. Those old-school effects. Boom. That's the difference between a shield hit and a hull hit. As much as I like the effects, Cryptic, can you please revise the volume levels, or at least reassess them? Space effects have always been much louder than ground effects in this game, to the point where normally when I'm editing videos like this up, the ground I will dampen down to about -10, -12 decibels if I don't need to automatically compensate for voice work in the game. But the space soundtrack, without adjusting the in-game volume, I have to take down to -18, sometimes even -20, if it's a loud scene. There's a very, very noticeable difference in volume levels. Perhaps we could get a pass on those. Anyhow, the attacking ships are disabled, so let's hail them. Their weapons were at full power. We noticed, so were ours. So, opens the hailing frequencies, and Captain Doherty is not entirely coherent. Who's taking control? What's happening over there? And then it's just static. Right, let's go scan K13. Wake up. Yo-yo round. Interestingly, it's bigger than Earth space dock. I'm not sure if that's deliberate or not. Also, it's a custom thing. You see the K13 written on the top of the station. That's a nice touch. Just squirting again. The camera filter, by the way, is deliberate. You can actually see the lighting and the soft focus being applied as we get further out. It's a nice nod to the 60s show, but yeah, perhaps a little irritating. Anyhow, all stop. Scan K13. What have we got? No hostile lifeform readings. Everything's quiet, except for the bit where they shot at us. So let's beam over and have a look around. Interestingly, we only have options for 3 here. That is deliberate. Again, you'll see why in a bit. We have a 4th away team member, but he, well, plot. Also, no transition, no loading screen, which is kind of nice, but no beam in animation either. And we have Ensign Hunter with us. First name Chrono. Right, what have we got? The lights are dimmed, but sickbay still operational, and there's phaser fire, but just phaser fire. Apparently, it's a very distinctive scorch mark. Right, nice touch with the overhead lighting, by the way. What's more interesting is that the light tubes aren't flickering on and off to match. It appears as though the lighting is, well, magic, so this needs to be synced to this. Right, now let's have a talk. And hello to Varel. Turn around slowly. I need to determine if you're infected. Infected with what exactly? The neural parasites, the giant, well, I say giant, they're about a foot across, flying pancakes from the TOS episode Operation Annihilate. Have we got it? A triangle scan of the adrenaline levels. There we are. Scan away. Yep. What happened? They're predatory life form, they infiltrate, etc., etc., and then they inflict extreme pain on the host of will and do so to discourage attempts at resistance. Terrific. Any recommendations? High intensity ultraviolet light. Get the tanning beds out. Unfortunately, we can't do it from here, or at least she can't. Let's see if we can find anyone else. So, hit the comms. Is anyone out there who's not a walking parasite zombie? Aha! Scotty! Why are you here and not on Enterprise? And more to the point, distress call? Actually, no, it didn't work. We only checked you out because the place had gone silent. However, the wee devils are indeed back with a vengeance. Can you join us? And the place is filthy with parasites, so yeah, you're not going for a wee jaunt anytime soon. Also, yeah, check this out. There's a line just at the back of the console. I can't tell. I think it's actually attached to Scott's model. You can see it's moving with his... Is it moving with his head? Hard to be sure. No, it's specific to the background, so it's not Scotty. Good thing too, we'd have to fire the barber. Right, let's gear up and head to engineering. Now, a criticism here is that the security gear is body armor and weapons. Now, that's never a bad thing, especially the body armor, but the weapons aren't any better than what we've already got, so... Anyhow, we'll grab them anyway. I mean, there's nothing wrong with giving... I think it's Tavrel who hasn't got a suit yet, so we'll quickly gear her up. Not that Tavrel, the other trip. Wait, Temet? Okay, so they changed the name if you're on a replay. That's a nice touch. Scaverin, already armoured. Tarsi, already armoured. And I've got the looted version. I've also picked up a kit. You'll see where we get that later on in this mission. So, trundle, 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 trundle. And into the lounge where, hi there, we have our first infected crew. Now, you'll notice that we are not getting disintegrations here, despite using old school weapons, because there's a specific note here that we've got the phasers set on stun, although it does produce some odd effects of its own, and that little screen shake was in fact camera glitching, not a problem with the... There we go. We should consider taking some scans for the infected. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just deal with this guy first. You'll notice that they have actually got the parasites on their backs, which is a very useful touch. Excuse me. We need you to go down. If you don't mind, I want to scan the station in peace. I'm sorry, scan the place in peace. Yeah. Don't know what's wrong with me this evening. Anyhow, let's go find some infected. Now, is it you? Yeah, there we go. Scan the pancake-controlled semi-zombie. There we are. Creatures continue to be resistant to triangle scans, and an unusually high level of tachyons nearby. Yes, fascinating indeed. Hunter, anything you want to tell me? No, fine, fair enough. Let's keep moving. Now then, round here, and hi. We'll just wide area you. And apparently I am the Earl of Energy. Also, stun baton, which is an interesting touch. It's an odd little side effect of the fact that we're not doing disintegrations. They're walking over to specific points in the map and then collapsing into a stunned state. Delayed effect phases, I assume. It's interesting. Now, what have we got? Oop, there you are. And yoink. Or it could just be lag. Tribble is not the most powerful server relative to Holodeck, so not quite sure what's going on there. Anyhow, there he goes. Now he goes down exactly where he's meant to. And we'll shoot this guy in the back a few times. Oh, sorry, Timet. Wasn't... Oi, where did you lot come from? Don't rush. There's plenty for all of you. I'll just duck around this corner, and then you can all have an old-school grenade. At least I think it was an old-school grenade. There we go. All unconscious. Yay! So it might just have been a lag issue that had them walking about earlier. You'll also note they're all still twitching, which is a nice touch. They are, in fact, definitely stunned and not the usual solution of dead as proverbial doornails. Do they even use doornails in the 23rd century anymore? Interesting point. Right, into the turbo lift and down to engineering. And okay, a single human life form, and we have an old school force field without the old school electrocution effects, which is handy, I suppose. Yes, that would have been Scotty. Speaking of whom, Scotty, hi! Good to see you again. Right, so if we're looking for the line, it's going to be at the back here. Right, so it's a problem in the background artwork, not with the environment of the station itself. Okay, lock the door. Timet. Interesting. Okay. Ensign, yep, she's a Vulcan, alright. Let's go. Also, this is where you pick up your kit. So it's a tactical kit, standard issue. This is a tactical character. Science and others will, in fact, get their own kits. And if your tactical, it comes preloaded with a photon grenade, which I've already got. So let's just move on. So, Scotty's finished his first one, and now we're going for a jaunt round an abandoned engineering section, looking for fuse boxes for Scotty to fix, and oh yes, it's full of pancakes, and not in a good way. Start with you, and then move on to you. Okay, right, through the dark. Oh, the success of great, yes, but it's so much quicker to go through the... Scotty, just fix this one up for me, will you? Thank you. Also worth noting that Timet, or Tavrel, depending on who you have, has come up with an antibody for the parasites. What she neglects to mention, however, is that you get infested, paralysed for a few seconds, and then the parasite explodes. I dare say we'll get an example at some point. Anyhow, we'll start by dropping this guy. There we are. Farewell to you. And then the next relay should be with the floating neural parasite. Now, did we get that one? Yes, we did. Ah, there you are. So you see Savins affected. Boom and boom. Right. And while we're dealing with the parasites, Scotty fixes another fuse box. Yay, good as new. Right, where next? So, minimap's a bit of a problem because it's zoomed so far out you can't really see the markers, but main map, of course, handy, handy, handy. So we've got one more to find, and it's just tucked down and to the right. So, yeah, let's go down the darkened corridor again. What could go wrong? Ah, there you are. Yoink. Dealt with. And then we want another left here. And here's our fuse box. Define tricky, Scotty. Define... Oh. That kind of tricky. Right. Pour it on. You can't turn the lights on. Yes, we can. And... Oi. Go away. As much as being backed into a corner by a pair of twins is something that a great many Starfleet officers would doubtless imagine, this is not a good time. Right. So they're gone. And then it's off to main engineering. Oh dear, I appear to have been parasitized. As I said, you get a short hold, and then the parasite explodes. This is the kind of thing that comes with health warnings, or at least should. And there's another parasite. Down you go. Thank you. Seeing some weirdness. I'm not sure if that's a server thing, or if Cryptic needs to look at the movement for the neural parasites. I seem to recall it was a weird kind of flying through the air on totally not visible at all strings in the episode. Right, and the ultraviolets are on. How's everyone's... Oh, wait, and now they're off again. Oh, dear. Right, let's see what we can do. You want us to crawl through the dark tunnel to the command... Oh, what the hell. There'll only be half a dozen explosions on the way. Right, and here we are. So we have the Station Command Center. In through the door, and, well, there's the base commander. Hi there. And looky who's through that window. Anyhow, first things first, we have this guy to deal with. So, pour it on. Pull out some distinctly modern-era STO abilities. Maybe that needs to be revamped, but on the other hand... Wait, no, you don't. Apparently, yes, you do. That's something they can think about later. For now, however, thank you, Tamet. Yoink. And down like the proverbial sack of potatoes. And we get to meet the Nakul, who are a happy bunch. Using liberated Federation and Klingon gear, I note. Anyhow, round we go. Time to turn on the tanning beds. There we are, and that's nicely fried all of the parasites. I know that first scene didn't appear to have the correct lighting, though. However, problem is fixed, and the parasites... Yeah, that was kind of the idea. It's a shame, isn't it? Salvage what you can, send a squad to kill the Federation vermin. You know how this is going to end, and it's not going to be with us respawning. Whoop. Okay, that's an interesting mix of old school and new school transporter effects there. Still, 1 down, 2 down. So much for elite soldiers from the grim darkness of the far future. Apparently we do war better than they do. Right, friendly fix. Thank you so much, Tibet. Now then, Hunter, fess up. Such as why you're skulking in a corner. Actually, it's the perfect time, because you know who he is. We called it several episodes back. Oh, also, Random Ensign and Incorrect Era Tricorder just behind us. Hopefully they'll be able to get Daniels' actor back to do the voice in this. They also need to do his mouth animations, if that's possible. And where's he had that tricorder stowed? Yeah. I mean, I know they have pockets on those uniforms, but I didn't think they had that many. Right. Okay, so... pretty much standard stuff, except that there is now a hyper-advanced ship out there, and it's fighting the USS Ptolemy, which is probably not going to end well for the Ptolemy, but hey, that's what you get when you tangle with a ship that's about 5 tiers above you. Unfortunately, we need to eliminate the parasites on board the other ships. Well, we can override their lighting systems. If we can do it remotely, it'll save us having to board them as well. And yeah, let's get to it. Interestingly, his eyes are sharply focused, faces are not. That's something that perhaps the modelling or camera people need to take a look at as well. However, we are done here, so let's beam back to the ship, get Hunter out of his corner, and we are back in business. So, K-13 is hailing. Scotty, we've got the command codes for the ships. Excellent. Emit an ultraviolet flash inside. We'll worry about the 300 cases of skin cancer later on. Flash the ships. And yoink, there we go. Everyone's coming around, the parasites are gone, and the frigates are back in the game. Yeah, we're right behind you. Lead the way. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, it's coming too late for the Ptolemy, whose weapons are ineffective. Unfortunately, it cannot be said of the Nakul ship. So, some kind of temporal shielding, to which Scotty's reply is, never heard of it, but maybe a charged particle. Actually, is this Scavrin saying it? Because he seems to be the inventor of the charged particle beam. Also, ship has missed the beam. It should be getting hit at the centre of those three, instead it's slightly off angle. Right, close in, and now it's back on angle. Except we have a Damosh destroyed. Now, I'm going to deliberately do something rather stupid here. Not that stupid, however. Evasive manoeuvres, get out the way. Clear arc, there we go. So, keep firing on the Damosh. See if the game drops us a hint about it being immune, saying, actually, you need to hit the distortion. No, if it was going to do something, it would have done it by now. So, fire on the distortion. And yoink, there we go. So the Damosh is now vulnerable. Hit it with Tachyon Beam. Wouldn't normally have this, but hey, every little helps. We'll just shred through this fight quickly. And then finish fight. Again, still no tutorial about power levels in combat. This is something that really, really needs to be covered, and should have been covered much, much earlier. Really during the fight with the Romulans. Because that's your first case of tackling multiple ships once. However, once you knock it down to enough health, the Damosh decides it's had enough and it's going to run away to the future. Unfortunately, in the process, it punches a large hole in the space-time continuum, and it kind of starts sucking the station in. Evacuate K-13 immediately. Try not to fly into the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey thing. Beam everyone up. And wrong era transporter effect there. Portal's collapsing and we're in for a right bumpy ride. Correct transporter effects, although Scotty amazingly gets off the transporter before he's beamed in, which is extremely impressive. Get us clear before it explodes. Ah, there's the anomaly. Has anyone ever seen a station do that? I don't know. What is it doing? Not entirely sure. However, neural parasites, time-travelling raiders, it makes the day on the Enterprise seem normal. Yeah, you just have to make sure Jim Kirk is kept away from the latest round of alien, females. However, if Starfleet Command gives you any grief, remind that lives are more valuable than equipment, and, well, we kinda have to explain just how a space station disappeared into a hole in the space-time continuum. Oh well, give my regards to the Glory Boy and his crew, and we'll talk soon, Daniels. I'm going to need some more answers. Anyhow, we are done with Painful Omens, so won't depart the system just yet, because of course we've got to turn in the mission, and Daniels pops up and says the same again, which is, okay, so it's locking you into the exit track, although it only does it once. Right, let's go talk to Admiral Garrett. So, K-13, an entire station just disappeared into some kind of spatial anomaly. And some of Kirk's after-action reports, well, let's face it, that one about the brain was fairly out there. Starfleet Command won't be too happy about the loss of K-13, but they'll be happy to hear about the lives. So, he's basically shrugging, saying, you know what, let's just roll with it. So, that finishes up Painful Omens for about the 4th time. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been Yuzral. That has been the Tribble Time Warp. And until next time, farewell.